So I just saw The Grinch last night, and oh, ouch. It's not bad. It's just terribly not good. Okay, so some pretext. I do love the original classic. That's, a traditional Christmas tale that everyone watches every year. But the Jim Carrey one is kinda trashy, like a lot. Like a lot. This movie, it's actually horrendously random. So random that I just couldn't get on board with what was happening. But before the movie even started, I was already being looked down and up by a couple that brought their little kid in, and that sat, of course, right in front of me. And it was at the point where the trailer for Ugly Dolls came out. And the mom looked behind and saw me, and she was like, okay, some positives, because I am an optimist. The animation is nice. The 3D is good. Sometimes they throw snowballs out you, and the depth is not bad. Most animated movies look good in 3D as well, but I think that's where the positives lay down for me. I laughed a couple times. Yeah. Well, okay, the movie's not as bad as I'm making it out to be, because it's not... It's a pretty low, mediocre movie. But it's definitely not my top 10 worst of the year, but it's just bad. Okay, where do I even start? The movie begins with him going back and forth to Whoville way too many times. Like, at first he's like, I ran out of food. Like, what? Okay. And then he gets there, and the Whovillians, they have no charm. They're consistently agonizing this Grinch, and he's not even like a monster to them. Like they do the Christmas with the Cranks thing, where they like stalk him and they sing Christmas music, and I'm like, what? Yeah. The Grinch doesn't even act like a Grinch. What entitles him to be the Grinch? I mean, he acts like a mix between Gru from Despicable Me, Illumination. Oh my God, there's like this like Kevin Hart bunny and the Minion. I don't want to get into that, but like Gru and Scrooge mixed, but it's not a good mix. It like kind of blends like both negative elements in them. And you're like, oh my God, what kind of Grinch is this? Like, you're supposed to feel like he's, like, nasty, but in this movie you feel bad for him. He's empathetic, and you the director and writer, I guess, emotionally manipulates you to be like, aw, when you're not supposed to feel like that. They do the whole heart thing, but, okay, anyway, he goes back and forth, and there's, like, this best friend character who's, like, only one of the few racially diverse characters in this movie, and he's like, my buddy, oh pal, and you're like, what? Okay. Okay, so the whole point is to, like, steal Christmas, yada, yada, yada. But what the trailers don't promote you, and it doesn't advertise Cindy Lou. Now, Cindy Lou and the mom, I don't know who shares the amount of screen time together. Who's the more important? Is it the mom? Because we start off, we're introduced with the mom. But then Cindy Lou is, like, a wild, wacky kid, and you're like, oh my God, this is like Taylor Swift and Zac Efron from the Lorax, which is still kind of better. But Cindy Lou, oh, okay, so like at the end, I'm skipping back and forth. Like the Grinch is like, I can steal Christmas for myself, and he does the whole like war, like and he like shotguns and all the presents and trees and everything. And instead of him coming to the best friend with that connection that they set up in the beginning, it's like, oh, the fable has me going to Cindy Lou, and what? Okay. So, like, throughout the film, Cindy Lou's like, I need to give this, wish to Santa. I have to. I need to. It's my purpose in life. And you're like, oh my God, what kind of, like, wish is this? But then, the next sequence, I kid you not, she reveals it, and it's like this, like, oh my God, this typical thing where she's like, my mom's working too much, and I can tell she's not happy when you know the mom is happy. She's just a little bit stressed and chaotic in this holiday season. But it's not like the mom is like even that lonely. And then Cindy Lou doesn't even ask for a father or a man. She's like, I just wish my mom to be happy. And you're like, what kind of kid are you? What the hell? And then like, so at the end, the Grinch is like, aw, but then he steals everything and he comes back. But no one's even mad. I mean, to the point where Whovilles don't even like look at Grinch like a Grinch. He's a monster to them, but not in this movie because body da, and you have to sing, and he doesn't even steal the big tree. When he falls in the big tree, I thought something big was gonna happen, like he was gonna destroy the whole thing. But that's actually one of the best scenes in the movie because it connects to the flashback, and it's not as bad as the trailer promoted, where he's like a little Grinch and he looks like a tree in Christmas and no one appreciates him. It's a little more meaningful than that. But he goes back to Whoville so much that you're like, wait, why does this set him off? It's like a PTSD thing where he's like, ugh, and he doesn't know how to like connect with people. But is it the lights? Is it the charm? You've already seen everything happen, so you're like, what just happened? Why now? But it's one of the best scenes. And then there's this reindeer. This reindeer, I don't know what happened. Like, the movie is so random that the reindeer comes and goes as well, and you're like, oh, because the goat, the screaming goat, it's so dated, it's like, ah, and he like screams all the reindeers away, except this one that you saw in the trailer where he like puts whipped cream up his nose. Okay, I don't know what happened. He comes back because he has a family, and the Grinch is like, I need to leave you be. And you're like, what kind of Grinch is this? Like, okay. Like, he lets him sleep in bed with him, and, like, he feeds him. And you're like, what is going on? But then he comes back because he's the only one that was nice to him, to the reindeer, and Grinch was nice back. And you're like, okay. Well, you're kind of nice to everyone. Everyone's antagonizing you to the point where you're nice to Max, and you're like, you buy him a Christmas present. What kind of Grinch is this? Hashtag not my Grinch. There's this scene where he's playing the organ, and like, you're like, Phantom of the Opera, you're like, I don't know what people expect of me. I'm just banished, but you're not banished because you can come and go as you please. Like, I don't know what happened with this. If I'm to connect it, like, if I'm to compare it to the rest of the films of 2018, it's in the bottom, but like, not even like in the bottom. Like, I enjoyed Nutcracker. I mean, I kind of got the holiday season with both. You're like, Christmas, that has a production value. I kind of got the warm fuzzy feeling with Christmas, but like, I don't know. It's not the one I was expecting. Okay, so Nutcracker, House with a Clock in Its Walls, Hotel Transylvania. If I'm being honest, like, I would rather watch those movies than this one. If I'm to connect it with like the Illumination, pre-holiday, the pre-Dr. Seuss classics, I would say the Lorax, I do enjoy. I think it's a good movie with a couple problems. But they focus on Ed Helms and the Lorax a lot, where I kind of like it. Horton Hears a Who is completely random, like the anime sequence, but even that has a more dynamic feel to it. But this is just completely random. It's so random to the point that I kind of got on board with some of the jokes because I did not expect them. Like, there's this one kid. Okay, so Cindy Lou is like connecting with like a bunch of kids, but it doesn't even matter because they don't come back at the end. But there's this one kid who like has a peppermint candy cane in his mouth, but it looks like he's smoking it. And Cindy Lou connects them all together. He's like, "You've called and I've answered. What can I do for you today?" And you're like, oh my god, what kind of kid is this? Like, I kind of found that to be a little ironic that, oh, he's smoking a candy cane. Hint, hint. And I think one other joke that made me laugh was when the Grinch was, like, wrapping all the presents and, like, doing his Christmas tale, I guess. Okay, and so he goes into this one house, and it's a sleepwalker who, and like he puts milk in it, and the who, what the who, what the who, and how the who responds to him. He says, "Thank you, mommy," and he just walks away. That got me. Like, no one else laughed in the audience. There's a couple times where the movie holds for a beat, like an audience reaction, because it's a sitcom. But no one laughed. The little kids laughed at some of the reindeer stuff. And Max, I guess? But, like, when the Grinch is trying to make a joke and he, like, basically looks to the audience like, funny! You're like, no, not really. I'm trying to go throughout the rest of the movie, but there's so many times where, like, I'm just watching it and I need to react to it, but no one is around me, where I'm like, look. But, like, I can't think of any big moments where I need to address. It's just, the movie is bad. I want to say Redbox and watch for your kids. Or if you're gonna watch it in theaters, you know. But, like, for me personally, I would say trash crumble, because I'll forget about it. But this is like a C- movie, if I'm being honest. And a 5 out of 10. Because it's not the worst thing that I've ever seen. But it should have been a lot better. And I did like it better than the Jim Carrey one, because it's animated, you can do more with the motions and everything, and it's pleasant to look at. However, I did not enjoy watching it. Why do you do this to me?